the Dad Bod Academy podcast. I am your host, Austin Krogan, your Dad Bod transformation specialist and architect and creator of the 90-Day Chiseled Solution. And today I am super excited to bring on Skylar, who is an awesome dad that I have recently met and have become pretty good friends with, it feels like, so far. We met through Facebook and with Neil. Yep. Right. And they started a fishing group and with dads, and they take their kids, and it's really cool. And what would you guys call it?
The real connection.
The real connection. Get it? Like a real? Like, yeah. So it was really cool. We all went fishing for the first time with our boys, and we caught some fish.
Seen a monster.
Came out of nowhere.
We didn't catch it, but out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. And so that's how we connected, and we've kind of stayed connected since. And you know, Skylar is somebody who I think is just, he's part of that tribe, you know, and I think very highly of you. I see how motivated you are as an individual. He's also really fit. He does jiu-jitsu. He works out. He's really good at jiu-jitsu. He's also been an MMA fighter in the past.
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai. He's done Muay Thai.
I just don't want anybody to call me out.
Yeah. But he's done Muay Thai, and he's very skilled in that. I think that's great. He's passionate about that. He also has his real estate business. He has his beautiful family. He's married to his wife. Your wife's name is?
Emily Liebarger. Sorry.
Emily
Liebarger.
Liebarger.
Yeah, it's a doozy.
Yeah, and your son?
Elijah.
That's biblical. I love that.
Yeah, his name's Elijah Michael.
Oh, I love that. That's great. But yeah, he's awesome guy. He's also doing real estate, and I love his motivation. I love who he is as a person and what he's trying to do with his life, especially as a busy dad. And I believe dad, because not all superheroes wear capes. That's in my tagline. Dad, because not all superheroes wear capes, and badass isn't an official job title. And I think we can all agree on that. And I believe that dads are at the forefront of everything we do. And that's not discounting moms. Moms are equally as important, if not more important. But statistically, what they show in the house and in the household, what happens to children when they don't grow up without dads. And just dads being present, and dads being leaders, and dads equipping, and dads doing the right thing, and just being great dads, because anybody can be called a father, but being called daddy, that's different. That means you're being a dad and you're doing the right thing. And so anyways, it's really cool to see that there's these dads that have this instinct about them, and about who they are, and how they carry themselves, and how they want to be, with all the different pillars of their life, whether it's their marriage, right? Whether it's taking care of their body, right? And equipping themselves in different directions and disciplines, you know, and, you know, being a business owner, right? Or working for somebody. Yeah. So it's working on those pillars and always trying to improve those, and be resilient, and create resistance in your life, and trying to rewire yourself completely is super important. And I think that of you, and I think I've seen that in you so far.
Thank you.
And that's why, you know, I wanted to bring you on today, because I wanted to dive deeper into what it is that Skylar does. Like, how is Skylar thinking, so that maybe not only will it help me, but it'll help our audience also as well at Dad Bod Academy, and people who are following, who are dads, these dads that are following along, and that maybe like, how do I look like this guy? Like, how do I work so hard in my job or my business? How do I be an awesome dad and an awesome husband while keeping my faith strong? How do I, you know, go and do all these hard things, like when I can barely feel like I can get out of bed, and my stomach is over my belt buckle, and I'm out of breath, right? So that's to bring all this in. That's who this guy is. He's high level, and I like what you do, man. And
I like what you do too.
Thank you. And I'm excited to just like dive deeper into that.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is super cool. So, this is your wife. Emily,
Yep.
and this is Elijah.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pause that for a second. So, how long have you guys been married? It looked like you got recently.
We just got married January 20th this year. I'm sorry, and but we've been together for 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Yeah. And you got a little boy here.
Mm-hmm. He's 5.
Yeah, he's 5.
Just turned 5 about 2 months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the best age. And he's in school?
Yeah. Well, he goes to Montessori.
Okay.
He'll be in kindergarten August 11th.
Okay.
But yeah, he looks up to me like a superhero, so I got to make sure to do that.
Yeah. I noticed that when we were hanging out too. Like he loves you.
Yeah.
He loves you, man. That's super cool. I haven't met your wife yet. I'm excited to do that. We'll have to do like.
Yeah, you think I'm good? You should meet her. She's high level.
Yeah.
She is high level.
What do you love about being married?
Oh man, I'm gonna tear up. I'm just kidding. What do I love about being married? I would say just having somebody there for you. Mm-hmm. That's why I've been with her for 7 years. I haven't always been in the greatest relationships. I would say just having a rock, just having somebody there to push you every single day. She gets me through days I'm not feeling it because I'm human just like everybody else. I have plenty of days where I'm like, I don't want to do anything. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you need to be tougher mentally. That's major. If I feel like I'm not doing very well, she reminds me why I'm doing so well, or like how far I've come. She's always positive. So I would say that. Yeah. Just about marriage. That's why I married her,
Yeah.
Just because the support.
Yeah.
And I try to be that for her as well, but.
That's great. Yeah, being married is, again, it's that support. And women and men think very differently in the marriage aspect, even like not just our natural instinct of like what we need, protector, provider, right? Nurturer, like, compassion, teaching, like that's what usually the women naturally have as a woman, but what's cool is they are your rock. They are your support system. And as strong as we want to be a lot of those days, they carry that weight.
Yes.
And it's just cool. It's cool that you do feel that, hey, like my wife is my rock. That is my place. Like, she carries me. And
multiple times a week, I will like think to myself, like walking out to my truck in the morning or something like that. Like if all else fails today, I have her. Like I'll come home to her,
That's a good feeling.
Yeah.
If you as a husband can sit there and go like, if I lose everything, like genuinely and truly, if I lose everything right now and I just have my partner, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
When my wife and I, the year before, were going through a custody battle for my son, it was the hardest year.
I believe it.
It was hard. And
I couldn't even imagine. I believe it.
It sucked. And there was I had career stuff changing. I had all kinds of stuff happening. And it sucked. Probably the hardest year of my life.
Yeah.
And I mean, marriage, everything, right? And I just remember one day I sat there and I looked at her and it was like we were going through a pretty thick day. And I specifically was, and I just looked at her. I said, hey, you know what? She was just like that rock you're talking about. She was just helping me out so much with everything. And she's a warrior. And I was just like, if all else fails and it's just you and me with our back to back, I'm good.
Yeah, we have each other.
We have each other.
That's what marriage is.
That's what marriage 100%. Is. Die to self.
Yeah.
Dying to self, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's really cool to hear that because that shows that love. And you can, you can see, and I see it on social media too. Your wife's in real estate too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's really cool because you made a career transition recently, right? And starting a real estate company. And I think that's really cool because she's like supporting you in that and kind of like also guiding and like,
Yeah,
hey,
she's
like,
my mentor.
Yeah, that's cool though.
She's my mentor.
That is so cool. And I see it on social media, like she's cheering you on and she's like, she's also she's being fun with it. Like I see the GIFs and stuff. It's just funny, man. And that's super cool. And I'm happy to see that. And marriage is a good thing.
Yes.
Anybody that says it's not true. And everybody should get married.
Yeah.
Everybody should get married. You should get married young. It's a good thing. And marriage is good. So
I would not be where I'm at without her. 100%.
That's so awesome.
100%.
That's so awesome, man. Yeah. What do you love about being a dad?
How long is this podcast? What do I love about being a dad? He looks up to me like a superhero. Again, every morning I see him, it's motivation. So I don't know how far back you want me to go, but
yeah, let's bring it right on, man.
Okay. I was excited to be a dad because I wanted to be a professional fighter. I was working an overnight job. I found out Emily was pregnant, and I changed my entire life. Went from training 4 or 5 hours a day, working a night shift on purpose to be able to train all day, to getting a lawn mowing job, and then I did everything. I started a small business cutting grass and doing mulch on top of doing that for a full-time job. Like I went and bought my own mower and everything else.
Yeah.
Just to make any extra dollar I could. I had a side job of picking up trash at a strip mall. So I'd show up at like 2 a.m. and take out the trash for the next day and then go to work at like 6, 7 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Just anything I could do to make an extra dollar to be able to provide for my son, because I felt like I was lacking, because being a fighter, you don't get paid.
Oh, yeah. You don't get paid anything, even for the fights.
Yeah, you have to put in a lot of work, before you can even think about making a nice check, like a lot of work.
Yeah.
So just having him, and then when I had him, it was like endless motivation. Seriously, even to this day, just if let's say this never happens, but let's say me leaning on Emily fails, I would 100% use Elijah, and it wouldn't fail as motivation. Does that make sense? I have to provide for him. Like I like him going to Montessori school. I like him going and being able to provide for him. So I'm gonna do whatever that means, whatever it takes. Because I want him to be good.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I'm molding a human, like why I have him in jiu-jitsu right now, I want him to be strong.
I saw that. That's cool. And I think that's what's cool about being a dad, and what a dad means is you're molding a mini reflection of you, and every decision and action that child takes is a direct reflection of you.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Yeah. You're way better at defining this and answering these questions than I am.
No, you're
This
good.
is good.
No, it's you're hitting that on the nail. Like you're molding, you're shaping, you're sculpting this human being to go into the next generation, and you're raising them up also as not just into eventually a man, but a young boy, right? And they say it's mom's job to take care of the baby. They raise the baby, right? They raise a boy, you raise a man, right? And I think that's really cool that that's the definition, like what you're talking about. That's the meaning. It's the meaning of like, I get to shape this person into something I saw. Like what you really see as a dad is you see the inner kid of you when you were a kid, and you're saying, how can I make that kid not go through that? Or how can I give that kid how could I teach? I wish somebody told me that, that's the great thing about also just parenting in general, you know. But you're nailing it. It's the molding, it's the sculpting, it's the developing, it's the teaching.
Yeah.
You know, like all these things you want. Hey, I want you to be in this because I want you to go to this school, and I want you to be in this class, and I want you to do this jiu-jitsu, and I want you to have this activity, fishing, and I want you to have these things because of who it's going to make you as a young boy into a young teen, into a young man. And those are experiences he's never going to forget, right?
Yeah, and then you can't forget when he's like, "You're the best dad ever." You know, you can't. You can't put money on that. Like, there's not a price on that.
Yeah, there's not. That's so cool. And again, like you said, he looks up to you as a superhero.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're a dad and your kid don't look up to you as a superhero, dude.
Yeah.
Go check yourself.
Yeah. No, but seriously though.
Go check yourself. You really should. You really should.
100%.
Yeah. You know, you got to. So. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. More kids in the future?
Yeah, so hopefully right now, if I'm being just 100% transparent, it is get a little foundation in my business going, and then we're going to try for a second kid.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Emily, you hear that if you're watching this, right?
Yes. She's going to watch it and be like, why would you tell everyone?
That's cool, man. Yeah, having kids it's great.
It's the best.
Fun. It's fun. It's fun being a parent, and yeah, it's biblical too. You know. So yeah. Well, and then so tell me some about your disciplinary actions here, man. Like how old are you right
I'm
now?
29.
You're 29. You're 29 years old. You are growing a small real estate business. You're doing jiu-jitsu. You're being a husband. You're being a dad. You're doing all these things, and you're keeping a physique like that. And again, this is hard when you're doing these things. That's why this podcast is important, because this is hard to maintain in your 30s and in your 20s. Like, when you have these things going on, if you're just working like 8 to 5, you know, whatever, 9 to 5, if you're just checking in and checking out and then going home and then eating couch potatoes and you're just being lazy and, you know, you don't have any other ambitions and you're just kind of there when you're a dad, like, then this isn't for you. Like, who cares? But if you're trying to get here, or you're trying to maintain this in your life, and you're a motivated individual like Skylar, then this is awesome. Like, how do you do this? Like, what's some advice that you would give to a dad that wants to try to get like a routine or regimen or something like this down? Like, what is it? Like, what's the mind shift that you have that keeps you doing this?
Oh man, again, how long is this podcast? I mean, you can take it from multiple different angles. I go from the angle of I perform my best as a dad, as a business owner, when I get in the gym. When the blood's flowing, you know, you're getting that runner's high after sparring or rolling.
Dopamine,
Yeah, you're getting that dopamine. The creative juices are flowing. I live for that. Days are hard. Some days, you know, I don't hydrate properly. I wake up feeling like a piece of beef jerky or something, you know?
You and your analogies.
Yeah. I would say get in and make it happen, though. Like, get started. I seen a thing that was like 1 day, and it's like a square rolling, and it's like 3 days. The edges start to wear down, and then after about, you know, a week, a month, a year, then all of a sudden it's a full circle and it's going downhill full speed ahead. And I would say that's the biggest thing is your momentum. You know, that's why they say it's super important to get in on Mondays.
Oh, totally.
It starts your week off strong, right? You know, if you do take the weekend off, I would say make goals and time blocks. I mean, I don't know if I'm talking to business owners or 9-to-5ers, but I would still say time block, right?
Ooh.
Like,
no, yeah, that's good. Yeah, time blocks. No, talk about that. Yeah.
Okay, so when I wake up in the morning, I am no social media for probably an hour, right? 30 minutes to an hour. And then I would do, like, usually I train, some days I'm not on it. But if I were to have like my best weeks, I will go 4 p.m. to jiu-jitsu, 5 p.m. is Elijah's, 6 p.m. I'm doing Muay Thai till 7 p.m. And then when I go home, I'm a dad, right? That's usually 3-4 days out of the week. But that would be my time blocking. So I'd take Elijah to school. I get up about 5. I take Elijah to school 7:30, and then until 3:34 when I got to pick, or 3:30 when I pick him up, and then we head to jiu-jitsu because he watches me.
Yeah, he watches
class.
you, and he does his little class.
And then he does his class,
cool.
yes. But so we do that. I work. Like, I drop him off. I'm 100% focused on work. This is your time to work. And then when I'm done, this is my time to do jiu-jitsu. And then this is my time to be a dad, and so on and so forth. And I would just do that. And I would say my best weeks come from that. It sounds super simple, but the days get away from you.
Yeah.
You know, I could drop him off and go mess around and be like, it's very easy to do that as a business owner. You could, where'd the day just go? You know, you're doom scrolling or whatever. Even at your job, you know, you go hide in the bathroom, or you work from home and you do whatever else. You can accidentally be like, oh, I didn't get anything done. I would say time blocking is what gets me flowing, because like I know I have to perform from this time to this time, and then my body knows this time to this time is training, and then this time to, I don't have time for, oh, I don't feel like it today, right? It's in there,
right?
Kind of just going on a tangent.
No, that's the whole purpose.
Okay.
You're giving substance and tangible things that dads that are listening to this can take away from, right? So what I heard is you when you work out and do jiu-jitsu, your blood gets flowing, dopamine's going, and it helps you perform better, not only as a dad, but as a business owner and husband, and allows you to keep that focus throughout the week, right, in the day. And then you said time blocks. I think that's super critical. So you're time blocking, hey, it's like you're saying, I'm going to knock out this time in my schedule, and I'm going to say, hey, this is non-negotiable. This is when I go to the gym. This is when I'm being a dad. This is when I'm going to drop off for school. And then you're being absolutely full force, relentless about those things.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I think that's huge, and I think that's important.
Can I say one more thing real quick?
Go for it. This is your podcast today. So
I just thought of this. I wanted to just drop this.
Yeah.
If you're looking to get started, if this is for people who are looking to get started, you are just like lifting is molding. You are throwing a new schedule in there, you're gonna have resistance, right? Like if you tell your wife, I'm gonna start doing jiu-jitsu. When you first start, it's not even about if you feel it or not. Things may come up like you're missing an hour or whatever else. It can feel really hard, but you have to, and people may not take it seriously because they're like, oh, he's just gonna go for a week and then he's gonna stop. So they're gonna try to interrupt you. But if you go for like a month, 2 months, 3 months, then it becomes, this is what you do.
Becomes who you are.
Yeah, and then people stop giving you less resistance, right? And then you don't have any other outside obstacles on top of your inner self trying to stop you.
Oh, I love that.
So
that's good. Yeah. And I like that you spoke to the beginner portion of it, right?
Because the hardest thing to do is get started.
Is to get started.
The hardest thing to do is get started. When I first started working out, I couldn't do 2 pull-ups.
Yeah.
Read Arnold Schwarzenegger's Encyclopedia on Bodybuilding.
By the way, here's a gold nugget. That's a great book.
It's a great book.
I'm telling you, that's a great book. I've read that book. I still read that book today. It's amazing. Anybody that's listening should listen to that. Go get that book. And
he's the king.
He's the king. And not even just from like a bodybuilding, get huge, whatever mindset, because that's what what people think of when they think of Arnold. There is so much exercise physiology, nutrition protocols that are in that are super important that can get you some great results. So
like how to get more out of 10 reps than 100 reps.
Oh yeah.
You know? These little things, because why waste your time?
Yep. And you know, even a lot of some of the things that I've learned, I've even cross-referenced things even from like courses and certifications that I've worked on and gotten. And I'm like, oh, this is the same stuff. It's actually better. So get the book. Anyways, keep going with that. Yeah, like what when you were talking about that.
I apologize about
the Arnold Encyclopedia.
Oh, so okay, yeah. So I couldn't do 2 pull-ups when I first started working out. I got that book. I was a scrawny little kid my whole life, and then I had no idea where it could take me. And then I started training, and next thing you know, I'm walking around like 165, 70 pounds, down to 5% body fat, getting ready for nationals. You know, and that only took about 2 years, which sounds like a long time. It's not. Like it's just it wasn't. It flew by, and but I used that motivation then when I started doing business as like, dude, you don't even know where this could go. You don't even know your potential yet. Because I'm serious. When you go from not being able to do 2 pull-ups to, you know, doing very well, I mean, you get a confidence from that, and then you start unlocking other things. I mean, that's my story personally.
Yeah.
That's just how I got there.
So I love that you're talking about that. Talk about how even like when you're talking about the pull-ups and being a beginner and trying to push yourself, like talk about how working out and pushing yourself, like how does someone push themselves? Like how do they know like they're actually really working hard? And how does where do you develop what working hard means? Like obviously you're a very hard worker. Work ethic is close to none nowadays. Men are lazy. Lazy, cupcake, I mean, just dragging along, doing the bare minimum. Like there's no work ethic anymore. So how does how does pushing yourself, like how do you define like when I need to push myself, what does that mean? You know, like how do I push myself right now when it's feeling hard in my workout? Like what just kicks in? Like is it just who you are? Because sometimes that is like it's just your natural instinct like kicking in, or is it like is there an internal motivating factor that's wanting to push you? Like what is it?
I would say all of the above. It depends on the day.
Depends on the day. Okay.
So because, and what I mean by that is some days, perfect example. One day I came inside, I had my shirt off, and I was eating a popsicle. And Emily goes, "Ooh, I like your dad bod." Immediately went on a 6-mile run. I was like, she was like, "You haven't been to training in 2 days." I'm like, I sat down in the chair, and my brain was like, "You're right. You haven't been to training in 2 days." Put on my shoes, went for a run.
That
called me like 45 minutes later. "What the heck are you doing?" It was like 9 p.m. at night. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just out for a run," and I was having a blast. Got the runner's high going. Got the dopamine.
You'll never regret a workout.
Not once.
No matter how tired.
Not once.
No matter how pissed. No matter. And by the way, that's an awesome wife.
Yeah.
That calls you out. I remember one time, my wife's done this to me a few times. I remember she's come up and she's like, done the little, "Oh, what's going on there?" You know, like if that don't light you up as a man, like don't get mad at her. Get mad at you.
Yeah.
You're the POS that literally made the decisions to get there.
Yes.
And or they like look at you a little different when you got your shirt off. Like that's a great indicator. But she said, hey, one time my wife wrote me a letter, because the great thing about what you're talking about is it's not like they're putting you down. Never, if you look at it like that, or you get super defensive, that means something's wrong, and you're actually a horrible leader. When you can sit there and be coachable and not think you're just I'm so much higher than my wife, and that you are equally yoked, and she's your partner, and she's trying to help hold you accountable because she knows who you are and what it does for you. She knows what not going to the gym and just beating on my craft, just working on my body, just going hard does for me. She knows I'm a completely different being.
Yeah.
I'm a whole different person. Your wife knows that about you.
Yeah.
She knows that about you, and that's cool, and she called you out on it.
Yeah. Because my last fight was at 149 pounds. So I usually walk around 165. And then when she got pregnant, I was up at like 193. And I went through a phase of like a year or two of not training. And she could tell, and, you know, and I felt like it as a dad. And finally I had a thing of being like, oh, I'm tired all the time. I was doing that with Elijah for a little bit, you know, like, oh, I'm tired.
Especially when you're a new dad.
Especially when you're a new dad. But like, I think he was like 1 or 2 at the time. And, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm tired, or this or that. And I'm like, why don't I have energy anymore? Why don't I have energy anymore? And then it kind of just clicked. Dude, you don't go to the gym anymore. You don't train anymore. You don't do all the things that you love to do. And then
that feed you.
That literally fill your cup, that feed you. You gain energy from it, you know, and it's just like this. So like now it's easier for me to get motivation and discipline, because I'm like, you have to have this. You are not the same person without this, and you will fail if you don't do these things. And I know that about myself. So for me now, it's a little bit easier, but I did go through a gap of where I wasn't the best. Yeah. You know, and I was wondering why, and now it's kind of clicked.
And you will. And you will go through those gaps. Yeah. And that's a reminder. You will. I have gone through them plenty of times, and you go through them. We all go through them. Even if you're a high performing, motivated man, you will go through them. But that's where, like, I like that you talked about time blocks. Time blocks, non-negotiables, accountability. Accountability is the biggest piece. Having another person, you know, go with you, or you know, call you out. You know, I took my
if you go to a jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai gym, or you lift, get a partner. 100%. I agree with that. Yeah. The guy right there, Wyatt, every day texts me. Me or him always motivate each other. Him or I is texting each other. You're gonna be at class tonight, right? You're gonna be at class tonight, right? Yeah. You know, and if one's not feeling it, we give a little pep talk. Yeah. And then we're there.
It's crazy what that does. And you know, I can't remember the exact statistic or percentage on it, but I think it was like you're 70% more likely to reach your goals when you have a partner.
Because then you're not just letting yourself down, you're letting somebody else down.
And that's called accountability. And that's the biggest piece, is you can let yourself down all day. You do it all the time anyways. Right?
We're really good at lying to ourselves as well, and like making deals with ourselves. Kind of like Kobe talks about, you know, like, oh, it can be tomorrow. Or, you know, you did have a hard day today. You know, or this or that. We're our best negotiators with ourselves. You know.
I had a rough day. You know, like, dude, you know, there's always tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow.
You can start tomorrow. Like, dude, you just restart tomorrow. Like, dude, come on. You got up. It's been, you know, you had this stressful thing happen, and you know, like, work was already just kicking your butt.
You didn't have the best lunch, or maybe you didn't have lunch.
Yeah, maybe you didn't eat properly. You had that crappy meal, and you know, don't go work that off. You know, like, just keep going. And like, dude, you and your wife are fighting, so like, you will just go. You know, like, no, I don't need it. I just need to like take some time, and
it's so easy.
You go down the excuse train, dude. And
it's so easy.
It's so easy. And you know, it's even like, it's that mind battle. And you know, I'm a very biblical guy, but it's like, you know, do not conform to the patterns of this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You know, we don't fight the weapons of this world, right? You're fighting those thoughts, man. And those thoughts that want to keep you to the other version of yourself. I mean, it's not even just thoughts, but it's like, it's this lower version of yourself.
Low vibrations.
Yeah. It's like the devil wants you there. Like, he wants you in the comfort, and he wants to keep you away from your higher self being, you know, walking on your walk with God, you know, because like, when you're doing things that are going to benefit you, such as your health, your marriage, your parenting, your prosperity, those things are all good and all biblical as well. So it's like, you know, like, it's just, you know, you gotta fight that battle, and it's hard, you know. And I almost did it the other day, you know, like I was sitting there, I'm like, you know, because I set my alarm for 3:55 a.m. Goes off, I give myself that 5-minute leeway, I don't hit snooze, I just let it, so that means if I don't get up for work and all that other stuff, it's gone. Like, you know, like I don't set another alarm. So I'm like, that way it keeps me accountable. But I took my neighbor the other day, was training him a little bit. And we were getting up, and I had just been on a 6-day vacation. So I was like, dude, you know, like
First day back in.
Yeah, I was feeling lethargic.
There's some edges around that wheel now.
Oh,
You know?
I'm like,
now getting momentum's a little harder.
You were unpacking all day yesterday. You drove like this, that, and I'm like, man, I don't know. And what do you know? He's like, he didn't get no sleep either. He's got 3 kids and a newborn, so you know, he's like 4 hours of sleep. You know, I'm like, I'm gonna be there, man. Like I'm gonna be there. I told him I'd be there. You know, so got there. You know, got there on time. Here he comes.
How'd you feel after?
Feel great. And so did he. And he was tired during our workout. You could see it. Like he was exhausted. And he got done though. And I was like, you'll never not love a good workout.
Yeah.
Gotta do
100%.
it. Gotta do it.
And you get it's crazy. So we talk about all those excuses, and then when you do perform, all of a sudden, all the benefits, like just off of a single choice, right? Like we just said,
a single choice.
Oh, I just had a bad lunch, so then now I'm going to let my day keep going down, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I had a good workout, and then it's crazy how when you get done with the workout, you can't feel those low vibrations. It's you're at a point to where like now all of a sudden all the good thoughts are flowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, now I can do this. Now I can do this. Now I can do this. You start to get creative. You can do whatever.
Yeah.
Now maybe you have energy. You're going to make a better meal tonight, or do whatever else. You're going to be there for your kid, whatever it is. But it's crazy. It's just that one choice.
Yeah, that's so true. And you know, they say, everybody's heard this, but like, show me your friends, I'll show you your...
You are the sum of the 5 people you hang around.
Right.
100%.
Yeah. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Show me, what's the other one? Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Let's just think about the other one. But the one I like, because when you talked about time blocks, is you create non-negotiables. Like both our Google calendars went off. So when we got here, that shows you that you follow a schedule. Most guys don't do that. They say they have a schedule, but they don't. But like if you follow a schedule, you know, you'll know like what gets measured gets managed, right? And the one line I like is, show me your schedule, I'll show you your priorities. So when you look at somebody's schedule, it shows you what they prioritize most. But if you prioritize most in the morning and you start your morning, that morning is going to dictate and catapult the rest of the day on how you're going to go forward. So if you start your morning off great, win your morning, win your day, right? Win your night, you'll definitely win your morning, win your day. So that's packing the night before. You put your time blocks in with your non-negotiables, right? And you say, hey, I'm going at this time. I'm going to do this, do that. And then you follow that calendar to the T. Might be off a little bit here and there, but if you follow that calendar, that's called structure. Structure equals freedom, right? And we're not going to feel as, why is everything just, you're not taking control of life. Life's taking control of you because you don't know, you don't know what's, you're just, you're not doing the math.
It's so easy to let the day fly by.
It's so easy, you know? So I love that you touched on that, because you have to stay organized.
It's very hard. There's so many distractions going on in life, and there's so many little things. For a perfect example, Emily 2 days ago, I did not want to go to Muay Thai after Jiu-Jitsu. Had some really hard rolls, was exhausted. Okay. Emily's like, are you going to Muay Thai tonight? She asked me. And you know, inside my mind, I'm just thinking, please say you don't want me to go. Please say you have something planned, please, you know? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, okay, I'll meet you there. And I'm like, dang it. But I went to it, got it done.
Yeah.
and felt amazing afterwards. And then the next day, I woke up with so much like motivation.
Yeah.
You know, like I wasn't really feeling it. I got it done. And every time you do that, it's a skill. Discipline is a skill. It's not. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a trait. I would say it's a skill.
It's a skill.
I would say you have to sharpen it, and it's all about the momentum and sharpening that skill. 100%. You can, which is nice because it means you can get it. Like if you don't feel disciplined right now, just start. Just start. Like go in today, okay, I only put a 20, 30-minute workout in. That's fine. Keep going. Then all of a sudden, like, oh, I want to see more gains. I'm going to change my supplements. You know, I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start doing, just start. It's the momentum, and it takes time, but it's the momentum. You just need to get started.
That's so true. That's good. You know, where do you do jiu-jitsu at again?
Omaha Academy of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I'll put that in the thing.
Yeah.
Omaha Academy of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. What does jiu-jitsu teach you about life? Like, I think the reason I want to ask that question is because, you know, like I did jiu-jitsu, I did, you know, MMA, I've done those things, and I think it's probably one of the best things you can do out of anything. Out of all the other things, the karate, the boxing, they're all good, all great foundations. Muay Thai, it's all phenomenal. Wrestling, I got Declan in wrestling right now.
Yeah, I've seen that. Best wrestler. Yeah, I've seen that.
But jiu-jitsu, hands down. I just heard Dana White talk about this the other day. It was just like talking on.
What did he say?
On a podcast about he was talking about if you're going to put your kids in anything, even like your little girls or little boys, like
especially,
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And he's so right, and I want to talk about that because it's super important. Because if I never had learned jiu-jitsu, and fighting was great too. Like I learned a lot about that, but I would have never actually gained confidence. Who I was in an individual. And you can apply jiu-jitsu in so many other areas in your life. You take it with you all day. You're like looking at things, or like, you know, you're grabbing stuff and you're like, yeah, armbar that pan right there. That's like that, you know, like, whatever it is, right?
Right.
You know, walking by a trash can, end up kicking a trash can or something.
You get up from your bed differently. You know?
You're even like trying to roll different.
Yeah, you're shrimping out of your bed instead of sitting down.
Yeah. But talk about that. Like, does jiu-jitsu is about positioning. It's about leverage. It's about...
I would say it's also... Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, flexibility. I mean, it's just a lot of things, but those are some positioning and leveraging, and then whatever else you want to add on. It's just, how does that help you in your life? Like, when you carry that over?
Like the discipline aspect of it, or?
Just all of it. Like, everything it teaches you, like what you learn, how it feels when you do it, like, man, and you're just going throughout your day, like, just imagine, like, you're going throughout your day and you're just, when you get reminded about jiu-jitsu, like how it made you feel and it's done for you, like, even when you're like learning new moves and stuff, it's really good solution oriented. You solve problems. It's great problem solving. Learning piece and technique, right? So it helps you in life, like, solve problems really well. Yeah. And not like, oh, that's the other one. When you're under pressure, when you're under pressure in jiu-jitsu, they teach you to be very relaxed, especially when it's like something's hurting. Or you said exactly what I was going to say. Okay, that's what you were going to say. Yes. How does that help you in like your career? How does that help you when you're under, like, you're definitely less emotionally triggered as a person when you do jiu-jitsu. Yes, yes, you're knocking it all out. Yeah, talk about that, like, because I don't do jiu-jitsu right now, so you gotta bring these guys in. I agree 100% with what you said. I would say the biggest things are the silent confidence it kind of brings about you. Silent confidence. Yeah. Scary. You know, grappling jiu-jitsu is very deep. There's multiple levels, right? When you think you're good, there's a million other things, right? Yeah. To learn, there's levels to it. I agree with you that it's solving problems and it opens up the way you think. I don't know how I'm supposed to lead that up. You kind of knocked it all out for me. I agree with everything you said.
I would also say it teaches you to kind of go with the flow a little bit, if that makes sense.
Ooh, go with the flow. Yeah, like
Because when somebody's attacking you, right, and you do feel that pressure, or if you're even winning, you're waiting on that explosive move to seize the opportunity, right? So, like if you have somebody, I don't even know how to describe it, but you're kind of baiting them, and you're just waiting for that explosive move to get
another move. Yeah.
To get, I don't know how to put it into words. Like, it just teaches you to just go with the flow. We'll just put it that way. I don't know.
Yeah, like
I'm kind of messing this one up. I apologize.
No, you're good. I get what you're saying. It's like chess, right? Like you got to think.
Yeah, you're setting them up, but it teaches you to kind of go with the flow. So they think like they're winning for a second, right? And then right when they go to be explosive, you use that momentum against them, set them, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm in a trap. But that's just what I'm adding on to your. It makes you think of solutions, because when I first started jiu-jitsu, I was very tight, like everybody. You know, I just wanted to be super dominant, super strength, and then started, you know, like I'm just going to use my strength. I'm just going to use my strength versus, and then I'd be like, why am I breathing so hard after 5 minutes? Versus now I can have 3-4 rolls at least, you know, before I'm breathing that hard, you know, which is probably not a lot. I'm sure there's some guys out there that are rolling 10 rounds, but for me,
but we're talking about
good.
You.
So that's good. The learning how to breathe, that's another huge one, because you get caught up, and then your heart rate speeds up, right? And then you can't breathe really, and then you start to realize it's in your mind though.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, because then you get in that position more, and then it teaches you like, oh, no, I've been here before. Settle. I'm not in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm not in trouble. I've been here before. I know what's
settle in it.
You can breathe, and I would say you could use that on life. You know, it's the same thing. It's like,
you just need a different position.
Yeah, just to be disciplined and being able to go through the struggle. I would say you could use it on that, of like, I'm not actually in trouble right here, or this isn't as bad as it could be. Right. I'm gonna make it through this.
I'm just out of breath.
Or
I'm just out of breath. I just need to relax, and I need to.
Or it's all in your mind, all in general. Like you might be just freaking out for a second, and then you're like, wait a second.
That's so true.
It's me.
Yeah, I like that. You know, you're talking about like when you're breathing heavy and you think you're like, oh, you're in trouble. And even when you're talking about the flowing piece, I do know what you mean by that. You're talking about, hey, like they think they're about to get a move that you actually placed on them because you know they're gonna explode, right? But then you know when they're gonna explode, so then you flow into, but you're already thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead. And that's it feels like chess, you know, but I do know what you mean by like, hey, you're going through this flow state, especially when you're grappling. And that's cool though, because if you just keep relaxed and keep flow in your life when you're under pressure,
you'll see the opportunity.
You see the opportunity. And how many times do you in life just sit there and you're like you said, this is the worst. Like, what am I going to do? Like, you know, not to say that, like, that doesn't change. Like, that still happens, like, with me, and I'm sure you. But it's like, jiu-jitsu will teach you that, though. It'll teach you how to be really cool under pressure.
Stop trying to force it.
If you haven't done jiu-jitsu, then you don't know what that means, like when he says that. Yeah. Don't force it, and you'll hear that in jiu-jitsu. And the first time you do jiu-jitsu, I did the same thing, like trying to be all strong. And they're like, oh yeah, man, you're like really strong, Austin. But then wham, you know. But, you know, you really just don't force it. And even when you are in a move, there's always a move to that move, right? There's always, when you're feeling locked up, when you're feeling whatever it is, you know, it's just, you'll be able to get through it. But jiu-jitsu will teach you that. It'll teach you that about like life, like,
and quick too.
And again, it's that problem solving piece, like, because there's a lot of different factors going on, you know, like when you're wrapped up, you know, you may have like, you know, your foot right here, right? And you can feel them and you already know what they're trying to do. Your brain's doing a lot of work, and that's why it's so exhausting on top of the physical piece, you know? And you got like one hand wrapped underneath here, and you're having to use your knee and your hip, and there's so many different things, and you're having to stay tight, and then you're thinking about everything they're doing plus what you are about to do, but you never actually know if it's going to work. You have to go for it. It's like, take the risk, right? And then like whether you thrust up or hip out or sprawl out or whatever it is you do next, get them in a Kimura or whatever,
it's a million options. Yeah, that's what I'm learning real quick. That's why it's deep.
There's
deep.
A million, but whatever it is, like there's always a different position. And even when the person, like this guy, the coach is watching, they see things that you don't see and that they don't see. No. And you can hear him yelling at you sometimes, and sometimes you can't hear him because you're so in it, right? They're like, hey, dude, he's like, just put your leg up there. Put your leg up there. And you're like, what the hell? What is he talking about? With my leg up there. Like, but he can see something different, but there's always a different position. There's always a different leverage. There's always something that can get you out. There's never like, this is it, that's all, worst case scenario, but I feel like jiu-jitsu, even from what you've talked about, can do that for you in life. It can help you, it can help you. It's like, talk about like, you were just telling me about that, even that career shift, like when you were working on that stuff, on when you're doing your construction piece, like, I feel like I'm in this position that I don't want to be in. Yeah. Jiu-jitsu, how can I get myself out of this position? Yeah. Right? Into a new one. Yeah. Right?
100%. So, like, talk about what I did?
Yeah, like how is like jiu-jitsu also like how, like you're kind of applying the same thing. Like, how do I get myself out of this position? Yeah. Like,
you got to think 3 moves ahead, I'd say.
Yeah. And did you think about 3 moves ahead before you made that move?
Yeah. So I've been debating about being a realtor for probably 2 years now. Wow. My wife and I have thrown it back and forth for quite some time. But it just got to a point of contracting makes good money. But it was just, like I was telling you, I feed off of people's energy. Yeah. Like I do really well for like serving, and helping. And that just wasn't it. With contracting, I didn't have time for the gym. I was working nonstop. It was really hard to get into the gym. And then, I would say I had to see my way out, but I'd say, you had to think 3 steps ahead before you just make an exit plan, especially if it's, being, cause I own that as well. So, being self-employed, you can't switch into something else self-employed. You can't you can't just escape it. You got to know 3 moves ahead, I would say, at least. How to translate that to jiu-jitsu. I would say I seen myself getting in trouble. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I seen them getting in trouble, and I had to find my way out.
Yeah. Did you feel suffocated at what you were doing? Yeah. Okay, so
that's so crazy you just said that, because that's exactly what I pictured. Was like, I'm in a guillotine and I'm feeling them about to just get underneath my neck.
You're in a guillotine. What would you do now?
Right.
You're in a guillotine. What would you do? How would you get out?
Am I in full guard? Am I?
Let's say they're on your back. Ooh, that's a tough one.
So rear naked choke.
Yeah. Oh, rear naked choke. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. You're in a rear naked choke.
Immediately, I'm putting 2 hands on one.
Okay.
Immediately.
2 hands on one.
2 hands to one hand.
They got it deep. What are you thinking? You can't breathe.
Do they got a body triangle in too?
Yeah, you're feeling it.
I'm not worried about the body triangle. Immediately, I'm putting 2 hands to one.
2 hands to one.
Yeah.
And then if you get that, then what's the next thing?
Then we can worry about that body triangle next.
Yeah. Oh, the body.
Yeah. We can worry about if I feel his arms starting to get exhausted and he's not going for it anymore, I might start prying. Okay. On there, but just trying to feed it. But I'm probably gonna keep holding on to that hand.
Yeah. So you'll control the hand. Start trying to remove that. Yeah. Because that's your.
The body triangle's tight, but it's not tight enough to make you tap.
Yeah. And then you'll work on that piece, and then what are you gonna do after that? Explode out or?
Explode out. I'm kind of a skinnier guy, so I would say I'd just roll and take mount.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
That's just me. And then now I'm in a winning position, right?
You're in a winning position. Same thing. Like you're feeling, stuck. You're feeling suffocated, and you were trying to think 3 moves ahead, and you had a coach. I mean, think about it. You were thinking. You said I was listening to like Andy Frisella and some other. And when you contaminate your mind with good thoughts. Such as hearing other voices that can speak to you, that's still mentorship. People are like, oh, I listened to this, that whatever video you listen to or person you're listening to on YouTube or podcasts, that person is your mentor. You don't have to be with them in person. That's why they have the podcast. It's they're mentoring you through that, through your own voices, right? So that was kind of like your next move. Like I can feel something tugging on me. I've always wanted to do real estate. I'm feeling suffocated here. Like, okay, I need to make a plan.
So I get my 2 hands on the wall.
Get my 2 hands on, okay. I need to ask somebody, my wife, right? Or like a friend, like real estate. Like I need to figure out what direction. Okay, it's been a couple of weeks. It's been a couple of months. I'm ready to make the move. Boom. Right? Like, but you're thinking ahead, and people could just say, well, like, oh, that's just trying to solve a problem. But you don't solve the problem. What I'm getting at is you don't solve the same problems unless you do jiu-jitsu. You think about things differently, right? So I think that's just great. I think that helps with, a lot of the things you do. And even the way you carry yourself, The first day I met you, I remember I was like, it was funny because it's hard to judge a book by its cover, but I'm a good character judger. I feel like I'm really good at knowing people pretty well. But like I got by you and my like when I saw you, my spidey senses kind of went off.
Good.
Like not in a bad way. Like
right.
I could see you and I was like, it was just the way you carried yourself, And I was like, this guy does like jiu-jitsu or something. He did some type of fighting. I can tell.
Right.
Like there's just something. I don't know if you've ever had that, but I was like, huh. I was like, and then Neil said, oh yeah, he used to like fight and he does jiu-jitsu and stuff. I was like, oh hey, like we were talking and I was like, I knew I could sense something.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like I don't know, but
that's great.
Yeah.
Have I ever had that? I would say yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, you can tell. I don't know how to put it. It's one of those things. Again, you're way better at putting things into words than I am.
That's okay.
I have no idea how. You can just feel that it's the presence.
Yeah.
It's silent, but it speaks.
Oh yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like you can if somebody walks in a room, you can usually tell if he can hold his own, right?
Oh.
Like you can usually tell. Like
when somebody walks in a room, you can.
You can.
Yeah.
And like usually I'll ask people like, "Hey man, you do any training?" Or I'll just ask them, but I would say you can tell. There's a presence about them, and it's silent confidence. It's the way people carry themselves.
It's calm.
It's calm.
I like what you said.
Yes.
Yeah, silent confidence. It's calm. You're not a barking dog. You're very. That's what a real leader, and that's what I would say a dangerous man is. Like one that's very conservative, is very genuine, but not outspoken. And not and just calm and still. And like when shit hits the fan, they're ready.
Oh, but they're ready. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what I love also about the jiu-jitsu thing too, and like and that's something I want to touch up on, is you can be a really great provider for your family as a man. And I heard this discussion the other day and I thought this was really good and I want to touch up on it because him and I can relate on this. But you can be a really great provider for your family, and I'm really proud of you if you do that as a man or as a dad. But I'm going to tell you right now, because I can provide, and that's what we're actually called to do. And you could feel it in your blood and in your DNA. You can ignore it all you want with whatever he said, she said, with whatever it is. But if you're not a protector and you can't protect, there's a little bit of limiting confidence and I would say pointlessness to you being a man. If you cannot protect, and don't think we live in some world of like everything's just fine and everything's perfect. There's so much destruction, danger, chaos, and evil in this world. And you may not see it in your everyday perfect life in Omaha, but it's there. And it's here, and it's here in Omaha too. But the protection piece is so important. I love that you're a protector, because if something happened and he had to protect his wife, I know I've seen tons of videos. And watched and heard so many situations and watched men not be able, like you're talking multiple men, be able to stop somebody or stop a situation because they're so timid and scared and weak. And you can't protect, you won't survive.
My wife had her car stolen from the outlet malls and I got it back 2 hours later.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's epic.
Because of my training.
Wow.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
See? Protector.
You want me to tell the story?
Freaking go for it.
So I was fishing at the river on a Saturday. Emily had something to take back to the store at the outlet malls, and she left her purse and her keys in her car. And she called me. Her car had been stolen. In the 20 minutes she had went in to just swap something out. And the guy used her card, and she was getting the notifications on her phone. So we got the store, called the store number, or got the number from where she swiped her card. So then we're like, that's this. And he went from Taco Bell to Ross Dress for Less, the Target over there on 72nd and Sorensen.
Got himself some Taco Bell.
Got himself some Taco Bell, yeah. And he came walking out of Target with a shopping cart. He had like a TV and some other stuff, but I had on flip-flops, and I had the confidence to just approach him. You know, he was tatted everywhere, tatted on the face, and I was not intimidated by him.
It can be scary for most men.
For sure. And I walked up, closed the door, and was like, hey, I know you stole this car. This is at the time it was my girlfriend's car. Yeah. It was a little bit more serious than that, than what I just said right now. On what I said. Well, he swung at me. And so I ducked, and I won, and I held him down until the police got there, and that was that. And we had her car back in 2 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I would say I wouldn't have had the confidence to do that if I didn't have training, you know?
Wow, because you didn't have training, yeah.
It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war, you know?
Oh,
like I live by that, right? Like
that's good.
You never know. I wouldn't tell anybody to get into jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai to go beat on people.
Never.
That's not what it's about at all. But just in case you run into a situation, you can protect yourself.
Protect yourself.
And like
others.
You just said, oh, this will never happen to me. I was fishing.
You were fishing.
I hadn't had a fight in like 2 years.
And you didn't have did you have your kid?
So Emily took him. No, he was 6 months old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So the car seat was in the car. That's why I was mad.
You were like.
That's what made me the maddest. Yeah.
And that's.
It's not the car. It wasn't the car.
Look, instinct.
It's my wife and my 6-month-old baby are now stranded 30 minutes from me because I'm over in the Plassmouth River fishing, and I have to go pick them up on a Saturday.
And maybe that could have been worse. Maybe, who knows?
God forbid, it could have been a lot worse.
Could have been worse, and he could have done it to somebody else, or could have gone away. There's a lot of and you've heard the bad stories even in Omaha of like cars getting jacked, people getting killed. I mean, of mass murderers, on the fleet in Omaha. So don't think your little world's perfect, but because he was trained, because he had these skills, he had confidence as a protector to go out and freaking execute. And that could have also spun the wrong direction too. Like, he could have had a knife. He could have had a gun. Yes.
He could have for 100%.
Let the cops handle it, but you were confident enough to handle that situation, and that's for me to go.
Not saying everybody should go.
And for on record, do not ever go and try to do that. And don't, no.
You can cut that out, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. We're not cutting that out.
Okay.
But what we're saying, based upon our experiences, because I've done the same thing. My buddy's car got broken into one time, like when we were eating downtown, and this guy was like, I mean, it was crazy. I chased him, you know, and I grabbed him and I brought him back. But what I'm saying is, don't do that stuff unless you're confident. Like, people will look for you, but like, if you get in a fight with 3 or 4 guys and they're trying to fight you, walk away.
Yes.
Actually run, you know? But if you're a protector and you have the opportunity to protect, do it.
Yeah.
Every single time. You know, if you are in danger, and, you know, your loved ones are in danger and maybe potentially other people, and you can solve a situation and they're not proper authorities there, then go for it.
And you can also protect people who, you know, women and children who don't have anybody around. Like they could just be just be shopping at the grocery store, for example. You know, just anything.
I love that, and I
think a protector's for anybody.
Yeah,
right. You know,
but you have to be a protector. You have to be, as a dad, as a man, and as a leader. You got to be a protector. If you're not going to have some fulfillment. Like, I know for a fact I'm not a big guy. I'm probably about 190 right now, so I'm a little heavier than I need to be. And I'm by all means not strong. My muscles are just for show. And I know, though, out of that, you said silence confidence, that, dude, I don't care how big you are. I don't care what you think you know. I don't care what you have. I know in my heart of heart that, and I'm saying that confidently on record right now, that I am not afraid of you.
Yeah,
I will fight. But I only have that confidence based upon the training I had. I'm not saying I'm going to win.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I may get my butt kicked. I've had my butt kicked.
Yeah, same.
I've been knocked out. But what I'm saying is, I am not afraid. I have courage. I have confidence, and I have skills that I know that I could. If the situation came, I could protect my wife. I could protect my kids. Because I see a lot of guys, man, and I'm like, you should be very concerned right now. Even the wives, I'm like, you should be very concerned about that. And if you're not a protector and you can't protect, but you can provide, you got some thinking and reflection time that you should be able to do. Because I've watched videos where like people are like, stop, and like literally like a guy is beating up on a girl and there's like 3 guys standing around. Like, stop, and they're trying to like pull, but they don't know anything. They don't even know how to throw a proper punch.
Yeah.
Like, bam.
Yeah.
That's my age right there, Bob. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it's so cool. I'm just happy to see that you are that protector. And you also see a lot of guys that are also tatted, big, buff, scary, strong, whatever.
Nicest guys in the world. But they also don't know how to protect themselves. Yeah.
If a punch got thrown at them, they want to know what to do. It's like, you've got to know what to do. Even like self-defense and, you know, even carrying, you know, being properly trained on how to carry, you know, even firearms. You know, all that's really important stuff to be a protector. So I love that you're a protector. I love that if you were didn't mean to go too far off subject there.
No, you're
But I love that you are a protector. I love that's who you are. I love that you have these skills, and that even if I was somewhere with my family, with you, I would feel really good. I'm like, man, I got freaking Skylar here. You know?
Same.
You know, I got some friends, I'm like, run the other direction, you're just gonna get in my way. Like, you know? Yeah. So that's awesome to know. So yeah.
I agree with you 100% on the, like, you try to get away.
Yeah.
But if you have to. You need to know what you're doing.
Yeah. And I'm also not gonna say like man up, like you'll be fine. Like, take care of the situation. Like, you know. So let's talk about a little bit about like your real estate here. Your real estate company. You just got in real estate again. You were in suffocation. You're now taking on this awesome new venture that you've been waiting on for 2 years. Your wife's in real estate. I have been watching all your videos on social media, and you have been kicking butt, man. Like, your presence is really good. You're very educated on real estate, and you're looking to really help people get into a home, and I think that's great. So tell me a little bit about your journey right now and what you would like to do for people in real estate.
My journey right now, I just got my license about a month ago.
Awesome.
So I'm a new realtor, but I'm not new to real estate, because I've bought my house, my first house, and then my second house. I turned my first house into a rental. I have done about 20 flips, so I just have to put that out there.
That's awesome.
I just have to put that out there.
Yeah.
I am a new realtor, but I'm not new to real estate.
Not real new to real estate, right? Yeah. You're just a new real estate agent. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Emily has been a realtor for about 5 years. Today I have a showing for a gentleman looking to get his first rental property. So that's really cool.
Dude,
so
let's go.
me used to being a contractor, I'm going to go in there and do my best to, figure out, I already did the real estate piece, figure out what I think he could cash flow for it per month, everything else. Now I can go in and help him, justify if it's a house with strong bones, right?
Yeah.
He's not going to buy it and it's going to flood next week.
Yeah, right.
What I would like to accomplish, I'm a huge volunteer for Sleep in Heavenly Peace. So every time I sell a home, I am donating a bed to them because they build beds for kids with no beds.
Dude, that's awesome.
I would like to do 10 houses this year and do 10 beds, and then keep that going. I think my plan is to just educate people. For somebody like me who never thought he could own a home,
Why didn't you think you could own a home?
Never thought I'd make enough money, never knew anything about budgeting, finances, anything for a long time, until Emily kind of came into my life.
Right.
There's only a few homeowners in my family, if I'm being honest.
Wow. Yeah.
At least at the time, it wasn't normal. Everybody was renting or leasing.
Right. Yeah. What are some of the limiting factors that people have when they're renting a home? When they're wanting to buy a home, is it just finances or is it credit? I know for me, it'd probably be credit. Credit seems to be a heavy one, like we rent right now.
So most local lenders are down all the way down to like a 580 credit score.
Okay.
If it's below that, they can. They have software where it can show you how long to build your credit up to where you need it to. So it could tell you 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatever, and it'll map out exactly what you need to pay down. And which is beautiful, because some people think, I'm not going to talk to a realtor, I'm not going to talk to a lender, I'm just going to pay off all my debt first, and then their credit goes down. It's not always best to pay off all your debt. That's not always the best. Sometimes it's you pay this one down or this one down. They have the software to show, like Emily just closed on
that'll affect the credit so that you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
So perfect example. Emily, of the software they can do, like Emily had a first-time home buyer, and then they found their dream home, right? Like their actual dream home. It was a very nice house. The husband's credit wasn't up to par.
Yeah.
And so they didn't know what to do. They're like, oh, we'll pay off this credit card. And the lender was like, no, do X, Y, and Z, and your credit will jump up this many points 2 weeks before closing, and I'll be able to get the deal done. So just stuff like that is a perfect example of why you need to go with like a local lender over just like your bank or like talking to a realtor. Because like that house, if they wouldn't have put the offer in, because there was another offer in, I believe, if they wouldn't have been able to get approved, have that game plan with that software, everything else, they wouldn't have been able to write an offer that night. They would have lost that house hands down.
Oh, right.
So I'd say that's my goals though, because they were super happy. I went over and helped them do a couple stuff to just like some housewarming gifts. Like I trim some tree branches, stuff like that. Nice. Fix up their handrail, just little things to send them on their way. As like, because the house was very nice. So it just needed like a few little tweaks, little yardscape. But I would say that's my goal, is just educating and helping people 100%. That's awesome. Genuinely.
Yeah. Educating and helping people. And I love that you do that with your cause as well. I love that you donate to, what's it called?
Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And I love that you're giving back, you know. Why are you so passionate about that one specifically?
When Emily met me, I was sleeping on the floor
Wow.
in my apartment. I had to start over in life.
Wow.
So yeah.
So you know what that feels like.
I know what that feels like. My mom had me when she was 15 years old too.
Right.
Love my mom to death. My parents, they did a great job. I'm just saying I know the struggle.
So she started young, right? Yeah, my sister had her son when she was 15, so yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Even given 150% at 15, I mean, you can only do so much, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You can barely get a job at 15.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like, I know the struggle. So.
Yeah. Are your parents still together?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm sorry. I said yes because I always call him my dad. So my biological dad, no, I've never met him.
Never met him? Gotcha.
He was around when I was like 1 or 2, but I don't remember that. So I just say I never met him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said in the beginning, how much that can impact somebody. No, you know, like not having, you know, a dad growing up can be pretty difficult. Did you have your stepdad then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was he there most of your life? Or?
Yeah, he was there since I was, he came in the picture when I was 3, adopted me when I was 5.
So he's your dad?
Yeah, so he's my
that's
dad.
Your dad.
That's why when you asked me, were my parents together, my brain automatically just said yes. I didn't even think about my biological dad.
No, I love that, man. I love that so much, you know. One of my younger brothers doesn't know his dad either. Never met him. Never knew who he was. But it's great to know that those are the father figures that I talked about in the beginning of this that step up. You know, they step up and it's not about the title. You know, and he's helping give you a life and guide you and all that great stuff. So that's awesome. And I'm glad that you had a father figure to look at growing up and be present with you, you know?
100%.
That's awesome. So you donate your portions to the charity, and I think that's really great. Do you, because you know what that's like, so it's an awesome, great cause that you're doing, and then you're helping people get educated on how to buy their first home because you bought your first home and you want people to be able to experience that. Why is that experience so important? Like more than from like an investment, the investment side, right? Like why not rent? Like why not, you know, because statistically, I think right now renting is at an all-time high, right?
It's up 13.7% this year in Omaha.
Thank you for giving the number because I didn't know, right? But renting's up higher than ever. Subscription-based models on everything is up higher than ever. Whether it's just part of how people are living or whether it's part of the system that they're trying to create. But like, talk about that. Like, why is it so important for somebody to experience a first-time house buy and more than from an investment strategy?
More than an investment strategy?
Yeah, or would it only be for just investment
Well,
purposes?
I mean, it's your home. It's actually your home. You can do with it what you'd like. Just being able to say it's yours, you know, like I said, and you can, it's been about 7 years since I've rented, so I can't really remember what it's like to rent a little bit, because I didn't ever rent a house. I always rented apartments, so I don't really know if, like, when you have a house, do you get to, like, have a garden? Do you get to...
We built one.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, so you got to just ask your leasing management company or whoever you're going through. And then sometimes you can just ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah. Ask for forgiveness, not permission. Besides the investment plan, again, I would say, what hit me was, I was paying like $1,600 a month in rent at an apartment, and it was just like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, well, you do that for 5 years, that's $90,000. You know?
That could have gone into an investment.
For anybody checking my math, it's a little bit over $90,000. I think 1,500 times 5 years is $90,000, so 1,600 would be a little bit over, but it just doesn't make any sense. And there's probably other
I'm not too educated on it. I do know real estate from like it's, from some different investment, strategies and things. Like I know of it. I haven't implemented it myself, so I can't really speak on it at all. But there's other things that you can do also with your home other than just, your home creating more value in the marketplace.
Your line of credit.
Your line of credit. But you can also can you borrow on your home? And there's other different things, not just remodel it, but I mean, there's a lot you can borrow against your home, right? So is there anything else that would be beneficial now that we're talking about the first time experience of it? Like, are there other benefits of also buying that? Other benefits of being a homeowner other than just hey, I can do what I want because it's mine. I can say it's mine. I can sell it, and I can make more money off it and the market value goes up. Or what are the other things that a homeowner can do?
Like taking out your home equity line of credit and doing go buy your first rental.
Yeah.
Go buy a flip.
Okay.
If you'd like to.
Yeah.
The other cool thing is I'm gonna go off on a tangent here. Trying to think how to make this short and sweet.
Yeah. If they want to so if you want to use your house as a line of credit, and you're saying right, is that what you said?
Yeah.
And you want to use that money to go invest it into
you can use it, technically you can use it for whatever you want, I believe.
Right.
You can
is
use it for
that like a lien or something on your house?
It's a loan, like your home equity line of credit. They give you, I can't remember, I wish I'd have done more research. I can't remember the exact, I knew at one point, but I can't remember the exact percentage. They give you a certain loan to value on it. And then, but you can take that and do it. Add a garage, you could go buy a car.
Is it whatever is over on that loan portion that you have, like the value of it that you can borrow on?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that how it works? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they give you a percentage of it.
A percentage of it? Huh. And then you can use that, which would be really beneficial for you as a homeowner versus paying rent, not affecting it affects your credit, but not as good as it would owning a home, having equity in something. And you'd be able to also use it in the long term if you ever want to move to sell and probably make a profit off of because the value's only going up, right? And then you would be able to also borrow on that line of credit for your home and make other investment strategies, right? Like you said, to go put in other rental properties or a flip, which it would be beneficial, right? As a homeowner, why wouldn't you want to create a portfolio and real estate for yourself?
You are way better than this than me, 100%.
I'm not. I listen to a lot of Collins Ford. I listen to a lot of stuff. I don't know anything about what I'm talking about, so nobody listen to me. I'm learning from this guy. But no, I'm just asking because, again, like you said, you're not new to real estate. You're just a real estate agent that's new. But I love that because you're trying to explain to people I'm getting educated on buying a new home. And if you want to buy a new home, Skylar's the guy, right? He's the guy. And I think that's super cool because...
or if you want to get your first rental, or you want to know how to do flips and what that looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, I can help with all that stuff.
You've done a few flips then, huh?
Yeah, I've done about 20.
Wow. We'll have to
It's
talk.
not crazy, but it's enough to, I think I know what I'm doing.
Wow, we got to talk about that then because I'm really curious about that. I've also been very curious and have dipped my fingers in it quite a bit is wholesaling. But I know there's a lot of different litigation and stuff, legality with that, with the whole law that just got passed a year and a half ago with real estate agent. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm really curious on some of that because I'd like to get into real estate more often. I have a, what is that? I invest into, the real estate investment trust. Okay. So they just disperse your money into, multifamily homes, and then you paid out your dividends, but you're just more of an investor versus which you want to be, right? But at least it's something on my portfolio, but I don't have any, decisions in the operations or the profits or decisions are being made upon it. So it'd be really cool to be more hands-on in real estate. And I'm being more strategic about when I go into buying a home. We're just waiting for, I would say, the right time. With my positioning, you know, even with like my career and my coaching business and like things of that nature. So, but yeah, I'd be more interested talking about that too with you and seeing how you can be helped, that how you can help us out with that, and we'll take you on.
I would say I'd love to do some, like get maybe not a script, but get my ducks in a row, and then be able to just bang it out on a podcast.
I would love to do that,
because there's so much to know about real estate. It's like, where do I even start?
No, there really is. There's a lot of avenues. I mean, even when I say like the wholesale piece, I don't think people even know what that is most of the time, you know. There's you know, commercial,
and there's multiple ways to do it. Like even if you just pick wholesaling, and then that opens up this and this, you know.
No, I love this, man. I think this is really awesome on what you're doing in your life as a husband, as a father, as a real estate business owner, as a real estate agent, and as a man in general. I think you're doing some awesome, cool stuff, and I'm excited to keep watching your journey as you develop. Where can people find you? Like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. What's the platform? And I could put it in the description and the link in the video. Okay. Where can they find you at?
Facebook and Instagram. So Facebook would be Skylar Leibarger.
Okay.
And then Instagram would be Sky_Life 94.
94. Okay.
So it's just Sky's Life 94.
Awesome. And then if they want to buy a new home, you're the guy to go to.
Yes.
Cool.
There's many different situations, like you had brought up waiting or the interest rates or whatever. My job is to educate and guide them through the process. Because they already want to buy a home. It's not my job to sell you on a home. It's just my job to guide you, right? There's avenues to get around interest rates and stuff like that. Again, I could go down a rabbit hole, you know.
I love that.
Just for example.
Cool.
Like I could give you some examples. I just won't. Take up too much more of your time.
No, we can schedule it out for another podcast. You got any one-liners? Anything you want to leave the audience with about, you know, like you got like a quote or anything that, you know, any advice you'd like to give any dads out there about just life? So you have like a go-to or something, or you could give them advice. You can give them a one-liner. What's your favorite thing? What do you want to tell them?
I can't think of anything right now on the spot.
Okay.
So a one-liner, and what's as crazy is I have so many.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you said the garden one. I thought that was really good. But what's something you want to tell if you were looking at you're looking at the man you are now and the man you were, and that's them. What would you tell them?
Get started.
Get started.
Start.
Just start. Hit the start button.
Go. And the reason that it sounds so simple, but the hardest thing to do is get started. You get 1% better every single day. And how you do one thing is how you do all things. So just remember that. That's the tidbit I'll leave in there. You get 1% better every day, and how you do one thing is how you do all things.
Oh, wow. How you do one thing is how you do all things. I love that.
So, get started.
Get started.
And the good, it's a compound interest.
Yeah.
Whether you're making a bad decision or a good decision, it's compound interest.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, thanks, bro. I love that. That was solid, and I loved having you on today.
Of course.
And,
thank you.
I loved you being here.
Yeah, same.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. And then it'll like cut out.
Okay.
You know.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Did we just do a podcast?
We just did a podcast, bro. You just did your first podcast.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. I love you. You're funny, dude. I'll probably try to make some.
I am not nearly as good as I